Go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. This is Korea, ancient land of Confucius and Buddha, of the Shinto shrines and the animistic nature worship of shamanism. Land of the morning calm. This is Korea, where millions are receptive to the gospel and waiting to be baptized into Jesus Christ. This is Korea, knifed in two by the 38th parallel, divided into the godless communism of North Korea and democratic South Korea. This is Korea, target through the centuries of invasions, annexations, and occupations by China and Japan. This is Korea, with a recorded moon calendar that dates back 4,300 years, with a history that includes so much foreign rule and occupation that it became an isolationist country and was known at one time as the Hermit Nation. South Korea today is a land of contrasts. The ancient and the modern exist side by side. In Seoul, the ancient capital city, where the hurrying feet of the Korean people reveal the strange mixture of cultures, east and west, high heels, rubber sneakers, turned-up toes, and patent leather. Seoul is a rushing, bustling city of more than 3 million, overcrowded by refugees from the north, and by migration from the rural areas. The new is accepted, but the old is not abandoned. Korea is a people rushing to catch up. The thunder of modern jet passenger planes echoes through the ancient valleys of Korea, and these reverberations stir the minds and hearts of a people yearning for a better life, of a people searching and waiting, receptive and eager for better ways, physically and spiritually. Receptive and eager for education and for the gospel of Jesus Christ. This is the main building of Korea Christian College, a mission Bible school established near Seoul in 1958. Around this school, directed by missionaries of Churches of Christ, revolves the mission to Korea. The missionaries, sponsored by congregations and members of the church in the United States, work here in training Korean teachers and preachers. Within the walls of Korea Christian College lies the hope of South Korean students to learn the lessons of the gospel, to learn how to lead their people out of the dark past, out of the not too promising present, into the enlightenment of Christ and a better way of life. It's here that God and Christ are the central themes of the college courses. Requirements for graduation are 160 credit hours, including 54 hours of required Bible subjects, a detailed study of both the Old and New Testaments, and 56 hours of religion, religious education, and religious social work. Classes are taught by a faculty composed of 5 American missionaries, 4 full-time Korean teachers, and 9 part-time teachers.
구원에는 뭐 여러 가지 방법이 없어요. 하나님이 명령하신 그대로 우리가 잘.
The enrollment is about 100 students per semester.
근데 세례가 반드시 구원을 얻는 데는 필요한가요?
The college slogan is teaching faithful men to teach others.
그런데 그 세례도 물속에 들어가서 이렇게 세례를 받는 것이
Between classes, the stairways and corridors of Korea Christian College are not unlike those of any other college. Daily chapel services are attended by all students. They join in singing hymns familiar to all of us.
제가 지금 봉독하여 올리겠습니다. 때에 예수를 판 유다가 그의 정죄됨을 보고 스스로 뉘우쳐 그 은 30을 대제사장들과 장로들에게 돌아갔다 주며 가로되 내가 정죄한.
A modern girls' dormitory is a few hundred feet from the main building of the college. The tile-roofed brick structure is fully equipped with bath and kitchen facilities and has room to house 32 girl students. The day's activities get underway with songs of faith. The refrain is unmistakable, and the old familiar words communicate their meaning, even in the Korean language. Breakfast follows prayer and song. The food is plain but ample, and the girls have hearty appetites. Facilities at the boys' dormitory, over a ridge and about a 10-minute walk from the administration building, are not as good as those provided for the girls. There is now a pressing need for a new boys' dormitory with more room and better facilities. The homes of the missionaries from the United States are part of the college campus and compound. Here the whole purpose in life is to teach and preach the gospel. The dairy at the mission was founded on the basis of the Cows for Korea program, supported by various congregations in the United States. A good basic herd of cows, Holsteins and Guernseys, were provided for the program. Milk serves the school's needs, as well as those of orphanages, hospitals, and sanatoriums. Heifer calves from the herd have been distributed to many other worthwhile organizations in Korea to start other herds to supplement the diet of undernourished Koreans. The work of the missionaries, inspired by sacrifice and dedication, calls for multiple duties. Dr. Sid Allen, a veterinarian who also teaches a daily Bible class, knows how to cure a calf as well as preach the gospel. And missionary Ron Nelson also wears another hat as he supervises construction of a new silo at the mission dairy. Dr. Allen believes in practicing what he preaches in his mission to Korea. Upon receiving word that a Korean farmer has a sick ox, he sets out to see what can be done to help the man's work animal. Rural roads permit a truck to go only so far, and Dr. Allen resorts to man's oldest form of locomotion, attracting followers like a Pied Piper. This is how Dr. Allen expresses the benevolence program.
The command and examples to help the poor, the needy, the widows, and orphans are repeated throughout the Bible. In Korea, the church is confronted daily with the needs of the hungry, the naked, and the sick.
The ox is a primitive source of power to Western eyes, but his use is peculiarly effective for the slow rhythm of rice paddy plowing. Dr. Allen feels, as do all the missionaries of the Church of Christ in Korea, that the most significant and most lasting benevolence follows the philosophy that the best way to help a person is to help him help himself. After the ox is examined, he is given a pill as big as your thumb, a sulfur pill to kill parasites. Another sermon and service, a live demonstration of love thy neighbor, has been achieved and gratefully acknowledged. The mission of the Church of Christ to Korea operates a clinic as part of the mission compound to examine and treat needy patients. This, too, is a Christian way to lead Koreans to Christ. Mothers bring their sick children to the clinic for treatment by a full-time nurse. The mission can afford only a part-time doctor, although the full-time services of a physician could be available for as little as $100 a month. A grateful and relieved Korean mother gets medicine to continue the treatment, and literature on the Christian way for her entire family. Next door is the welfare office, good warm clothing donated by United States congregations to lessen the sting of Korean winters. The distribution of clothing to the Korean people is only part of the mission social welfare program. A valuable instrument of the missionaries is the mission print shop. The press and some of the equipment used in the print shop are old and obsolete. But much of the literature used by the missionaries is printed here. The print shop has one machine which makes the characters of the Korean language into type. Nearly all Koreans are literate and have a high regard for all printed material, most especially literature of good quality printing. The Bible Correspondence School, operated from the home basement of missionary Bill Ramsey, has become an important extension of the mission program throughout Korea. Now serving almost 40,000 Koreans, the Bible Correspondence course has far outgrown its facilities. The actual cost of providing the course to one person is about $1 to pay for papers and printing, postage, and labor. The lessons used are from Studies in the Bible by Monroe Hawley. It usually takes from 5 to 7 months for a person to finish the entire course and receive a diploma. Some 2,000 Koreans already have graduated from the course. Of these, great numbers have been baptized, and at least 3 churches have been established as a direct result of the correspondence courses. The thirst for the gospel is great throughout South Korea. Requests for enrollment pour in from remote farms and villages. Hope for a knowledge of the Bible and a better life inspired by the gospel truths rides with the requests for enrollment in the correspondence courses, rides with the pleading words on the wheels of the Korean mail service. Unfortunately, hundreds of these requests must be turned down because of a lack of funds and facilities. There's a backlog of more than 5,000 Koreans waiting to begin their correspondence lessons, and the list grows daily. Despite the privations, much has been accomplished since the first Church of Christ in Korea was established in November 1930. That was when S.K. Dong, a Korean converted to Christianity, broke the ice of a Korean river and baptized 20 Koreans into Christ. Many, many others have contributed their time and effort, their inspiration, their sacrifice, and their dedication to the development of the Church of Christ mission to Korea. Men like Dan Hardin, Dean of Korea Christian College, and Malcolm Parsley, who teaches the Bible and preaches the gospel toward the fulfillment of Christ in Korea. Men like Bill Richardson and O.P. Baird. Men like Haskell Cheshire, president of Korea Christian College, who has spread Christianity in Korea since 1954. He is a visionary who helps to make his dreams come true. He helped establish Korea Christian College and has helped establish some 40 churches throughout Korea. The words of missionary Cheshire tell of planning being done to improve mission work at all levels.
We have taken a determined stand in Korea. The stronghold has been secured. The gospel of Christ, preached by dedicated, well-trained Christians, will defeat Satan on any battleground. We are doing this in Korea.
Korean fishermen in their ancient craft suggest a scene on the Sea of Galilee where the fisher of men and his fisherman disciples set a true course for all men, for all time. The ultimate goal of all the work, the sacrifices, and the preaching by the missionaries in Korea is to spread the gospel and to save souls for Christ. Here on the sandy shores of the great Han River, as in other waters of Korea, the young, the middle-aged, and the old are being baptized into Christ. Missionary Cheshire sums it up this way.
We are in the work. The work is growing. An entire nation of people can be reached in our lifetime with your support.
Shall we gather at the river? Yes, we'll gather at the river. The beautiful, beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river that flows by the throne of God. Scenes like this are now being repeated throughout South Korea. You can share in this harvest. Many millions of Koreans are receptive to Christ and are awaiting the word. You can share in this harvest. if you'll only open up your heart and say with Christ, come unto me, and I will give you rest.